Call the Wilson County Commission meeting January the 24th, 2022 to order. Welcome all of our guests tonight, and thank you for being here, and hope you have an opportunity to come back and join us again. This time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tommy Jones, Commissioner Tommy Jones, for the prayer and pledge.
I invited a deacon of our church, Gladeville Baptist, Mr. John Foster, to come and lead the prayer tonight. And while he's coming, I'd just like to say, we find it very easy to find fault in this country every day. And we live in the greatest nation in the world, and right here proves it. We're free to worship Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, whenever we want. And I just challenge everybody to try to remember that this coming year. Instead of finding what's wrong with our country, let's find something that's good for it.
Amen.
Amen.
This is John Foster. He's deacon at my church. He was born and raised Gladeville. We growed up together. I'm just a slight bit older than him, but I know I don't look it.
Much better.
But anyway, I'll turn it over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Tommy. Let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for the day that you've already provided us and just all the blessings of it. And Lord, thank you most for just this country that we live in. That Tommy's already mentioned. Just we have the freedoms to come here and have meetings like this and come and go as we please. So we're thankful for that, and we know we owe all that to you. We ask you to continue to bless this county that we're in. I can't imagine a better place to live in the whole world, Lord, than right here in Wilson County. So we're so thankful for that, and just the good lives that we're able to live here, the jobs that we have, the schools, just all those things, Lord, we're thankful for. We ask you to be with this group of commissioners tonight, Lord, as they just make decisions, that they would look to you for guidance and always look to do what is right in your eyes, even though sometimes we may have disagreements amongst ourselves, Lord, that we always find a common ground. So we thank you for that. Be with us the rest of this night. Watch over us. Keep us safe as we all leave. We ask all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you, Mr. Tommy. Or from the steering committee, Commissioner Patton.
Are we going to vote
I'm sorry.
first?
Yeah, let's go back. Roll call. Please press yes on your panel to record your presence at tonight's meeting. Jump the gun. 25-0. Good deal. Now let's go back.
Miss Bishop's not here. We can't be 25-0. Oh, there she is. You just snuck in. Well, okay.
It's awful sneaky.
Present.
Slid right in.
Notice.
Report from the steering committee, Commissioner Patton.
The steering committee met in regular session on Thursday, January 13th, in the upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received as filed.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Adoption of the agenda? Commissioner
Motion
Patton.
to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And consent agenda, Commissioner Patton.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
And we ready to vote?
Hang on, sir. Don't we have two in the consent agenda? Yes.
We do?
Number one and number two? Yes.
And that will be a roll call vote. So if you are ready to vote, please cast your vote.
I can't see anything on that screen.
All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, resolution passes. Special recognition at this time, Commissioner Terry Ash.
Thank you, Mayor. Would the members of the Insurance Committee please come up? Joe, come up here, please. didn't know you had a suit that good, man. I just did. Sue's going to read this resolution in just a minute. Had a little bit of eye problem. I want to make a comment. In the 80s, you remember, Quentin, a lot of people in here, when the school system went under, and everybody's general fund got hammered, and we tried to bail the school system out. Well, in the process of that, as we were winding out of that 5 or 6 year drought, the county employees, Debbie came to work for us. And it was at the tail end of trying to get things straightened out. And I know y'all send people to the insurance committee all the time, and in the months and years ahead, when y'all send people over there, on the committee, I hope you'll continue to send people who are service-minded and not self-minded. And that's how I feel about Debbie. She came in, Aaron, and started working in finance and worked through that process, and then when we needed her most, she had an insurance background. She kind of transferred over to the insurance side of it. And I just want to tell you, Debbie, you've done a heck of a job. Yes, sir. This insurance committee works hard and try to keep things out from in front of all of us up here. And Kenny can attest to this. And has anybody else ever served on the insurance committee that's sitting here? Wendell, did you ever serve? Wendell served. Joey did. It's tough now when you start talking about the employees and their benefits. So when I'm no longer here, I want y'all to continue to really push hard to take care of the county insurance. Dave, I want to personally thank you. And Sue, if you'll read that, I'd appreciate it.
Debbie and I go way back in the
Let's
insurance
ask
business.
the current employees who are working.
Yes.
Would y'all please stand back there, y'all? Come on. Give them a big hand, please.
It is an honor to read this to Miss Debbie. Like I said, we go way back in the insurance business. Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, honoring and congratulating Debbie Fisher for her years of service to the Wilson County government and the citizens of Wilson County. Whereas Debbie Fisher, benefits and risk manager for Wilson County Finance, has retired from Wilson County government. And whereas Debbie has 28 years of outstanding service to Wilson County government, having first been hired in November of 1993. And whereas during that time, Debbie Fisher served Wilson County government primarily in the finance department. And whereas while fulfilling several responsibilities in the finance department, she served as the deputy finance director, later taking over the role of benefits and risk manager, where she assisted for many years in all areas of insurance for Wilson County and its employees. And whereas during this time, she has been very actively involved in many areas, the most prevalent of which is her volunteer work for the Wilson County Fair Board and for Wilson County Promotions. And Terry and I both decided we left out the Chamber of Commerce because she was a big support of mine when I was there. Whereas during her years of exemplary service to Wilson County, those who have worked for and with her have enjoyed a wonderful working relationship with her as they assisted employees in Wilson County government. And whereas, after her 28 years of service to Wilson County, Debbie Fisher has determined that she will retire from her position at Wilson County Finance, but continue to serve Wilson County and its citizens in many other areas. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, that we hereby honor Debbie Fisher for her years of service in Wilson County Finance and to Wilson County government and its citizens, and congratulate her upon her well-deserved retirement.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Eric, I've asked Aaron to say something. Of course, Debbie, you know I am chairman of the County Retirees Association. You know that. You're welcome. You can come to the meetings now.
Thank you, Commissioner Ash. In the Finance Department, we like to say we're a special group, that we don't just work together, we're a family. And we truly are. We've seen the good in each other, that we've been through the good, the bad. And Debbie's been there ever since I walked in the door. She's been somebody I could lean on every time, personally, professionally, whatever was needed. Dear friend, and has served us in so many wonderful ways. I've enjoyed working with her, consider her a dear friend, and we certainly love you.
Thank you.
And we'll miss having you around, but you know where we are.
I know.
Okay. All right.
Ms. Robinson?
I would like to say that I have known Debbie for a very, very long time. In the 20 years that I worked for the Wilson County Road Commission, had the wonderful opportunity for her to be a blessing to me to help when we had problems at the Road Commission. I could always call, and she was a blessing to work with. So I congratulate you, Debbie, on your retirement.
I really do not have a speech written, and everybody's been offering to help, but mainly, I regret that I did not keep a journal of all the stories through the years. I've worked with many of y'all in this room, from all the small departments to the largest departments, from employees to I've seen them on county commission. I've gone through, I should have added up how many different groups of county commissioners I've worked with, but there's been a lot, and a lot of it was a training process. But every day was different. There was never one day that was the same. And I think that's what made it enjoyable. I never thought when I first came here that I would ever be here as long as I was, but I have been. But I'm now enjoying retirement, and my husband wanted to make sure that I do let y'all know that I am planning on racing a motorcycle.
There you go.
He races. He is a sports bike racer, and I have a little small bike that I raced. Yes. Trust me, it goes about 50 miles an hour, so I'm not going real fast. It may sound fast, but for the sport bike stuff, it's okay. It's a small bike, thank goodness. But I am going to enjoy, but I am here. I've been involved with Kent County, like Sue said, the chamber. Rotary was another one in the fair. I'll be around. I've always felt like I wanted to be here to help. I felt like our department was here to help the departments and to help the commissioners, and I still feel that way. So I may be gone, but I'm not gone. Mm-hmm. Thank y'all.
Please, Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Smith?
Miss Debbie, we love you. We've had a lot of conversations. We're going to miss you. All right, so if you need us, let us know, all right? Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Debbie, for your service. This time, I need a motion to go out of session for public hearing.
Motion, second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed? Mr. Tom, I'll turn it over to you. Tom Brashear is our planning director.
See this?
Forgive me for my slow arrival. I was congratulating Miss Debbie. Whenever I had questions, she had answers. So, as a small department head, so. With that, I do have one public hearing this evening. Public hearing will be held before the Wilson County Commission on Monday, January 24th, 2022 at 7 p.m. or thereafter in the County Commission Room of the Wilson County Courthouse, located here at 228 East Main Street. Application has been made by Stewart's Ferry Investment Partners with permission from the property owner, David Lean, to rezone approximately 49.03 acres from R1 Rural Residential Zoning to R1 Rural Residential Zoning with a planned unit development overlay. The property is located at Stewart's Ferry Pike and is referenced as Wilson County Property Map 117, Parcel 24.13. A copy of the request has been on file in the Wilson County Planning Office in the basement here at the courthouse. And anyone wishing to comment or desiring to comment is requested to come forward at this time.
Like to speak on this issue, please step to the back microphone. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Joe Haddix, Civil Site Design Group, 2305 Klein Avenue. Appreciate your time this evening. What you have before you tonight, as Tom mentioned, is a request for 47 lots utilizing the planned unit development overlay. Utilizing the PUD allows us to, or Tom, to be able to make sure we follow through with the commitments or the commitments of the developer for this project. We spent quite a bit of time with this through the Planning Commission process. listening to the adjacent residents on some concerns, some of which, as most of y'all probably know, are drainage. We feel like we have a good solution or can assist with a solution to ease some of the drainage concerns. Two things I would like to note, or a couple things I would like to note. This was on the record at the Planning Commission, but I would like to get it on the record tonight, that we have committed to add some landscape screening against Mr. Trammell's property for our construction road to Stewart's Ferry, which is a temporary road once construction is complete, so we're not sending any of our construction traffic through Rhonda or Bland Drive in the existing subdivision. The landscape berm along the northern property line, we will extend to the 100-year flood line as to not block any flow. And then tonight, we would like to request one variance, and that would be to allow a 20-foot building separation or 10-foot side yard, which is consistent with your A1 and R1 cluster. It's just the PUD provision requires a 30-foot building separation, so we would like to go back to the standard zoning code on that. And I can answer any technical questions y'all may have, or actually any questions at all. I'd love to help. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this issue? Seeing none, we'll close public comment period and need a motion to go back into session.
So move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Tom?
Yes, sir. I will go into session with the rezoning request itself. This is a plan unit development. You all have not seen a whole lot of plan unit developments. I do think you've seen one in the past several months. I think that you will start to see more developers do this, particularly at my behest, because I think that it gives you a little bit more assurance of what you're getting on the ground in terms of product that's coming out in terms of zoning approval, if you wish to grant additional density or additional zoning approval. In this case, they're actually not exercising any more density than they might have gotten in their R1 district, but it does allow them to make commitments such as maintaining a 75-foot buffer between this neighborhood and Shelley Acres, which is the neighborhood next door to them, off to the east. They are able to make commitments such as the additional berm and landscaping along the north side of the property and along the contractor or the construction drive or construction road that's coming off of Stewart's Ferry Pike, whereby they're hoping to detour most of the construction traffic from going through Shelley Acres, but coming straight off Stewart's Ferry Pike into the property. And there's a gentleman that lives next door to it that asked for some additional screening that Mr. Haddix did commit to on the record just a moment ago once more, just as he had at the Planning Commission. They are asking for 47 lots on this 49 and change acre tract. The PUD does have certain standards in it, such as 50% threshold. Each structure has to be 50% brick, stone, or some other material accepted by the Planning Commission. They did ask for a variance at the Planning Commission to allow hardy board as one of those, or concrete cement board product as one of those materials. The Planning Commission chose not to grant that variance. They can still use hardy board, but it won't count as part of their 50% threshold for brick or stone or Centurion stone or veneer brick facades that we'll be looking for. They will also be having approximately 600 square feet of personal open space improvements for each home that's constructed here. And what that consists of are your front porches, your back patios, upper story decks. In total, they'll have to amount to at least 600 square feet of personal recreational space for each lot. The last thing that I can think of and there's plenty of things in the PUD with regard to open space improvements and things like that, but the last thing I can think of that may be of pertinence to you is that there's a minimum square footage of heated area of 2,000 square feet per home as proposed in this development. They did ask for the setback variance. The Planning Commission chose not to grant that to allow them to go back to what we typically would accept in a cluster provision development, which is 20-foot separation or 10-foot side yard setback, as opposed to the 30-foot separation or 15-foot side yard setback that is outlined in the plan unit development ordinance. They have again requested that one variance of you all this evening. I'll leave that to the commissioner for the district and others to speak on if they wish to. And with that, I'll leave it to you. I thought we might have some graphics, but I guess that did not work out, so.
Commissioner Jones, it's in your district.
Yes.
You do have master plans.
I would like to ask you one question, Mr. Bashirs.
Yes,
The
sir.
setback lines, you led me to believe the other day that you were really probably in favor of it for the reason, of the problems we're having about so many going before BOZA when they go to put in swimming pools and things of that nature.
Yes, sir, that's true. In terms of patios or decks that are attached to the house, we consider that a part of the primary structure. And if they happen to grow the deck out to one side of the house or the other, if it's attached to the primary home, it's considered a part of the principal structure. And that would help us out on not having as many variances going to the Board of Zoning Appeals in that particular instance. So that's a good point that you make. And it is something we've done pretty spreadedly in cluster provision developments, which is another development mechanism that doesn't allow density increases. In this case, they actually could have gotten, I forget how many lots, I'd have to look, but I think they could have gotten as many as 70 some odd lots, and they're asking for 47. So they're not maximizing their density at all.
They eliminated the cul-de-sacs, I see.
Yes, they did eliminate the cul-de-sacs. That was one of the things we talked about. That was actually something that we requested as planning staff, but also, in the end, Gladeville Utility District asked for them to loop their water line, and it just made better sense for them to have a connection there.
Commissioner Gentry?
Has this developer done anything else in the county?
CPS, well, I don't, I have dealt with this particular developer on a number of developments over years past, over towards Wright Farms, some of that area. I think they were some of the initial developers there before they sold it off to builders such as, I think Butch Earhart is the primary builder in Wright Farms. They've done several developments on the south side of the Providence development. So I'm familiar with the individuals. They may be flying under a different moniker for this development, Stewart Ferry Investments, but I've known them as CPS Land and several other things. And they will be selling off, I would anticipate, to a couple of different builders. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but they will be selling off to different builders. But the development criterion will go with the land once it's approved.
Any other questions for Mr. Tom? What's the pleasure of the board?
So
Sorry?
theoretically, the houses could be 10 foot apart?
20 foot apart. They have to be at least 20 foot apart. We typically ask them to go on and set a 10-foot setback so that no one lot is getting a squeeze play, like a lot here and a lot here do 15-foot setbacks, and the guy in the middle has to have 5 or something, or 20.
Commissioner Walker?
With 47 lots, are there any type of amenities that are going along with this subdivision?
Yes, they are doing an outdoor meeting space, which is like a pavilion. And part of the PUD does require for the first 300 homes that are built, which this doesn't have 300 homes, but it does permit them or require them to have meeting space for at least 75 people. But they're choosing to do kind of an outdoor pavilion that they can attach wind breaks and things to. They are also they have an outdoor play court and a little bit of a trail system, I believe.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes, I'd like to recommend approval for this rezoning and go ahead and recommend approval for the variance for the setback lines.
Second.
Any discussion now? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The record reflect it was unanimous. Mr. Dow, Commissioner Dow?
Yes, I guess you probably know what I'm fixing to ask about.
Sir, I anticipated it this morning.
Yeah, yeah. Linwood BP,
Yes.
they come up and they done a little work, we give them, some time to
Yeah.
get some work done, and they've been up there back and forth, but
Actually, in
Now-
conversation with you today, you let me know something that they had in fact been up there. We could not really tell a lot of difference
Yeah,
between
they
the
had,
last
they
times
had,
we've been there and now.
yeah, they had been up there and done a little scratching around, but it still looks bad, and I recommend that we just go ahead and take further action if that's okay. I mean, they've had a year and a half to plan this out and get ready, so maybe now that'll get moving.
Any other questions for Mr. Tom? Thank you, sir.
I should have pointed out, this does have the survey requirement that you guys recently approved, the master plan does on one of the pages. But thank you very much, and have a good evening.
You too. Thank you, Mr. Tom. Report from Minutes Committee, Commissioner Bishop.
The Minutes Committee met in the upstairs conference room on January the 13th at 5:36. The minutes were approved and mailed in your packet. And I make a motion that this report be received and filed.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Commissioner Patton?
I have several corrections to the EMA committee meeting minutes. First of all, the lady who spoke to the committee's name was Michelle Pitts, not Cheryl Pitts. Oh, I thought that it's not time to ask. I told Ms. Joy we needed to.
Minutes.
That should be the EMA.
Commission meeting.
Report.
The commission meeting.
No, it's the report of the minutes committee.
Yeah, okay.
You want to wait till WEMA?
Oh, no, but these are, we're not going to do the whole, who do I need to talk to about the changing the lady's name and stuff in the minutes for one of the meetings? Okay,
When the EMA comes back up.
okay.
We approve and file.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Reading of the minutes?
Make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there anything to be added to the notary list, Mr. Goodall?
There's a list there.
Have a motion to approve a notary list?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Industrial Development Board, there are 3 members here that you are to appoint to serve a 6-year term on the Industrial Development Board. I'd like to recommend to you for your consideration, Mr. Terry McPeak, Mr. Jay Moores, and Ms. Tiffany Wright. Information about these individuals are in your packet. What's your pleasure?
Motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Audit Committee member, due to the passing of the late Mr. Jerry Taylor, left a vacancy on the Audit Committee. Upon your confirmation, I'd like to appoint Ms. Alicia McIntosh to fill this vacancy through July of 2022. Information about Ms. McIntosh was in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Judicial Commissioners, there are 2 to be appointed. I'm going to turn the floor over to Commissioner William Glover.
Rachel, if you would like to come up. Well, she's coming up. We have 2 part-time positions that we're going to bring before the commission for approval. They're going to be for a term of 1 year. And once we approve this, and they're going to go through the background check and all that kind of stuff, if they pass that, then they're going to be put to work.
I was going to ask them in the committee, but I didn't.
Good evening, Your Honor, Counsel. Esteemed Commissioners, Happy New Year. I hope everybody's staying warm, healthy, and safe. Well, time flies. 1 year ago tomorrow, I stood before you guys, and I was appointed Director of the Judicial Commissioner's Office. And I'd like to first thank this commission, as well as the Judicial Committee, for their support in helping us attain some of our goals and accomplishments that we've achieved over the past year. I put on your desk tonight a year-at-a-glance letter which highlights some of the organizational changes from the Judicial Commissioner's Office. We've had a very busy year this year. As you can see from the letter, our office has issued 5,756 warrants. That's an average of about 480 warrants a month. We've also issued 249 orders of protection, which brings me before you tonight. I would like to introduce 2 part-time Judicial Commissioner candidates. First is Mr. Gregory Walsh. Mr. Walsh, could you please stand? Second is Mr. Kevin DeLong. Both of these individuals have very impressive backgrounds. They have interviewed for our office for positions. They have extensive experience in the criminal justice system. Mr. Walsh has served as a sergeant in law enforcement for 30 years. Mr. DeLong has served in law enforcement as a major for 29 years. They are both retired, and they have been presented and endorsed to the Judicial Committee. And tonight, I respectfully ask for your vote to elect Mr. Walsh and Mr. DeLong as Judicial Commissioners for one-year terms. I believe they will be a significant asset to the Judicial Commissioner's Office as well as the county.
Make a motion to.
Motion. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Report from the Emergency Management Committee.
This EMA committee met on Tuesday, January 11th at 5 PM. The minutes are in your, I guess in your folder. Move that be received and filed.
Commissioner Patton?
The lady that spoke the other night at the meeting concerning her son, her name is Michelle Pitts. And her 9-year-old son probably would hate to be called 4 years old. So that was one of them. And then also, that's on the first page, and on the second page, it says that, let's see, since the, where it says vice chairman, and of course, I said, okay, when Jeremy Hobbs addressed the committee, and the leadership expressed his belief that the leadership of this committee had not supported Director Cooper. He didn't say that. He specifically said Commissioner Glover and Patton. And then after that, it doesn't say that Patton asked Commissioner, had he not been supported by everything that he's ever asked from this committee to be granted or given. And when he acknowledged he had, that's not in the minutes.
Are you good?
Yeah,
He didn't express his belief that the leadership of this committee, he named out names.
Yeah, I tried to clean that up, to be honest with
We can give you the video. Yeah, I know. Well, at least you didn't put in there that I cause his hair to fall out and him not sleep at night, you know.
you. You don't put everything in a minute.
Yeah.
Try to clean that up.
Yeah.
Go back and put it to wash.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be with all these things, if Sandra's got it recorded, to print that, and I'll go back and change it exactly the way. And maybe you defer this to me. Here we go.
That'll be fine.
So we'll defer these minutes until next month, okay? So we'll move on now with the Emergency Management Director's report. Director Cooper.
Mr. Chairman, County Commission. Well, to catch you up on,
Can I ask the question? Did you say you was gonna change it to the way that she wrote it, or what she just said? Okay, but the hair stuff, is it gonna be in there too?
No, that's, and you can if you want to, but you don't have to, no. I was just talking about that.
Well, it was said at the meeting though,
It was
wasn't it?
said at the meeting though, but, I mean, yeah. We can play,
Put in everything that's said in the meeting. If you want that, you need a court reporter there.
well, there's a tape recording of it. There is a voice recording of it.
Yeah, I can, I'll fix what she said.
Director Cooper.
thank you. Our yearly call volume, medical calls for the year was 15,836. Fire calls was 530. Rescue calls 3,058. And total calls for the year 19,424. Kind of ironic that this year we had 2,000 and some change calls higher than any other year that we've been in existence. And we're short more than we have ever been in existence. So that brings me to my next thing. Again, we have 23 vacancies. We have 8 applications at this time. 3 are for part-time, 5 are for full-time. 1 of those is a paramedic, and 4 of those are AMTs. We currently have 16 employees out on COVID. We have 6 on extended medical leave. And most of my crews are experiencing added emotional health and stress concerns. And of course, running over 19,000 calls, you can imagine where we're at. And yes, some of that stress I have. And of course, we'll move on to our COVID report. We have 3,698 active right now, and our total vaccine doses for Wilson is 50.74%. And also, for the December 10th and 11th tornado, we did get a declaration for that. You can either go to Davidson County at the Madison Public Library, or there's an email and phone that you can contact them for that. Recovery Center. And as far as personnel, already covered. Station closures, Station 7 was closed 54.5 times, and that's at 48.7%. Station 11 was closed 18 times, 16.1%, and that does not include single equipment as fire trucks and things like that that have not been staffed. That's just the stations itself. That concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Move to receive file.
Second.
I have a question. So what's the total number of staff you're out, including vacancies, COVID, extended medical leave? I mean, make sure none of those were overlapping.
23 vacancies.
So what's your total number of staff that you have?
150
So
something.
you're somewhere closing in on 50%. I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, about 33%.
Pretty close.
25%.
So how are we gonna staff these new stations?
It's got applications in it.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that, I mean,
I guess we won't if we don't have any applications to
I did,
look at people. Right now, like I said, we have 8, and 5 of them are just wanting full-time, so.
Wow.
And they haven't went through the whole process yet, so you can't guarantee those 5.
And Commissioner Kurtz, you know, just as we look through this, of course, you guys are going to evaluate the pay with the pay study, and then the stations won't be here for another 11 months, 12 months.
I guess my concern though is if we don't have the people, the pay doesn't matter. You know, and I've heard Clark Boyd on the radio discussing the state standards may change where we can do in-house training and that type of thing, but we're still gonna be short the number of people coming in.
Right.
I mean, that's concerning.
And that's across the board right now in the state. It's just not a Wilson County issue. Yes, sir. Commissioner Fields?
Director Cooper, you mentioned that, I believe you said 50.7% of people have been vaccinated. How many of those have had the booster as well? Do you have any data on that?
No, sir, I do not.
Commissioner Ash?
It's just a personal observation, but I think they've done an amazing job, and I don't know of anybody that hadn't had the ambulance brought to them. However, they're managing that, Joey. I know it's like having 10 balls in the air. I get it. But I want to thank your staff. Those who are there, here sticking it out with us and for the citizens of this county. You're getting the job done, and that's it's amazing. So want to put a positive note on that. Thank you.
Commissioner Walker?
Got 2 new stations being built in Mount Juliet. Is it not true that employees we have over there right now will be moving to those new stations, or is
Correct.
that not
Yes,
true?
sir.
Okay.
Except for the 6, there are 6 that you guys approved that will go to run the fire truck down there in Miss Commissioner Weathers' area. But you're correct. Yes, sir. Commissioner Breeze?
I understand that this is an issue here in Wilson County, and I'm understanding that it's an issue through the state and through the nation, but I'm curious, do you know if there are other surrounding counties and city departments that are having the issues that we're having for hiring? Like, are they down 33% at this point too, or is it just us?
Yes.
The only part that I can answer to that is at one time, yes, we were all in the same position. Other counties have looked at different things to make that percentage lower, as in hiring, and done different things. So some of those have been caught up, some are still behind, or short, if you will. But from what I understand, none of them at this time are hurting or has as many off that we do, other than Metro, you know. Of course, they're down probably 60, 80, 100 people, but.
And to kind of help, you know, at our mayor's meeting that we have regionally, they're all struggling with this issue. The only difference is for a lot of them is they have volunteer service in the rural area, where you as a county choose to put people out there 24/7 in the rural area, which is a positive in my mind. But where their people are all in one station, you don't notice is it bad. But every mayor that I've talked to so far have had that issue. And Commissioner Kurtz, I was not making a lot of the situation. It's a storm for all of us. I'm just hoping that at some point we get to where we can do that, because y'all have been gracious enough to put those people there, which is good for our citizens. We don't want to lose those people, and we've got to work at trying to be able to get people in the field, which is important, and compensate them, and we know that that's an issue that you're going to address. Commissioner Gentry?
Yeah, let's go back to the COVID. On our report, it says the total vaccinated 181,000 people. And yet we're only 50% vaccinated. How does that work?
I don't know. It's on
You
the
just get that
Department of
from-
Health. Yeah, that's where I get the information.
That,
And that's what's listed on
well,
their
I understand. I'm
website.
just thinking, how can that be? But, okay, thank you.
May not be.
Yeah,
It's suspect in my mind, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, no, I agree.
Commissioner McFarland?
Health Department vaccinates anybody, could be Smith County and where else. Total vaccination.
Yes, sir. Any other questions, Commissioner Smith?
Off question.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Director Cooper. Report from Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner Rich?
No report, but I want to say this. Several of you have asked me about the noise ordinance. Just want to let you know where we are on this. We still have to meet, Mr. Jennings, myself, the sheriff, and the chief deputy still have to meet with the district attorney on this to get his feelings on it. We were supposed to meet on the 21st, but there was a COVID issue, so we've had to postpone this meeting, and it has not been rescheduled yet. But after we have this meeting, the Law Enforcement Committee will meet. I've talked to the sheriff about it. He's in full support of it. We will try to bring something back to this commission that's abbreviated down, something that the sheriff can work with, and that's what he's asked, to bring something I can enforce and something I can work with. Hopefully, this will be here in February. If not, it will be here by March at the very latest.
Sheriff's report, Chief Owen, as he slowly makes his way up here. You get a lot of information from people in my office. Two of them are here tonight. Ms. Brooke, if you would stand up, please, for me, Brooke Driver. And also Ms. Christie Willie is here. She is our new person that took Jim's spot, but she also does a lot of other stuff. So when you receive all those emails, like from FEMA and those different things, we do our best to update you and keep you updated, maybe more than you want. I got that. But thank you, ladies, both for being here and for the job you do for our office. Chief Owen?
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
The sheriff's monthly report for December should be in your packet. I'm not going to give you the statistics for the annual. I'll let the sheriff do that next month when he comes and speaks with y'all. We'll talk about December just briefly. A couple things to hit on. Calls for service, of course, are up, and they're up compared to last year as well. As far as the state of where we are on employment openings and so forth, Commissioner Marlowe, you asked a question several months ago, and I was unable to answer. I was going to let the sheriff answer it. But we had 6 vacancies in patrol and SRO, which were challenging. So he did fill those positions. You know, those positions were filled with certified officers, just like you suggested. But we have to be real careful when we do that because, use a bad word, rob. We don't want to rob from our brothers and sisters in Mount Juliet and Lebanon. So we have to be careful when we get certified officers. And we didn't do that. So we're fully staffed there. As far as corrections, we still have 9 openings, but that's not unusual. We'll probably maintain that forever because as soon as we get one hired, one leaves. That's just the way it is in corrections, okay? And I don't think we've ever been fully staffed. Also look here at the traffic enforcement locations. We've gone up to 261, and I field phone calls every day about traffic-related issues. And I talked with Commissioner Weathers just a few minutes ago because we had a meeting with one of her areas the other night. Trying to keep this off of you as much as I can, or we can. We're getting a lot of complaints from gated communities and subdivisions. And I'm never going to tell anybody there's nothing we can't do. All right, that's just bad. It's bad business. But when they call about why don't we have speed bumps? What are you going to do about construction trucks? How come we can't have officers in here running radar every day? These 261 calls, and we have probably, I didn't check the exact stats, we have over 75 different special patrol watches on traffic that we have to deal with every day. And we just don't have the manpower to go inside a gated community or a subdivision like that and run radar. We don't do speed bumps. And I think the group the other night, once we referred them to look at their homeowners association agreement again, I think they saw the section in there where it allows construction and dump trucks and things to do what they do. So I apologize for them having to call you and they want to talk with you. And I hope they don't do the rest of you, but there's several other subdivisions that we've been working with, and hopefully we've satisfied them. Okay. Other than that, I really don't have anything else unless you have any questions.
Motion to approve the report.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Owen. I'm stay. Report of the Education Committee, Commissioner Stafford.
It might be the emergency.
Sorry.
The minutes in your packets, I move they be received and filed. We met Thursday, January the 13th, at the conclusion, I want to make sure that I say that, at the conclusion of the Animal Control Committee meeting. I made a motion. I think I got a second over there somewhere.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, Director of Schools report. Mr. Jeff Lettrell.
Thank you, Mayor. You do have my report in your packet. We'll touch on some highlights of that at our regular session board meeting January the 11th. We took some regular action on policies. Then under old business, a presentation from Civil Site was presented on the land sites that are available through the RFP. We talked about those, and they gave their findings on preliminary issues of soil, sewer, connectivity, and those type of issues. Out of that, no action was taken. Special called board meeting will be held this Thursday, January 27th at 6:30 at the ATC building. I encourage you to attend, and you can listen to that conversation. At that point, I will be making a recommendation for our board concerning the RFPs that we have at this time. if they approve, and then, of course, we will be continuing on with that process and at some point bringing that to full commission for the funding mechanism of that. We have experienced some inclement weather last week. We're down to 3 stockpile days left. Just want to explain that. We're one of the few businesses or industries, however you want to term it, that state law requires 6.5 hours for school. Our state allows us to go 30 minutes over, which we do, and those build stockpile days so we don't have to change our calendar when we're using inclement weather. We are down to 3, and the weather in Tennessee, will that be enough? I don't know, but it is under state statute. If we run out of those days, we then will have to look to the state for, we can file an appeal with the state, but it'll be up to them. If they deny that appeal, then you would have to add days to the calendar. And included in what we have used for inclement weather under state statute this year, we were allowed to use 5 days back early for COVID. When we got our numbers got so high, and we used those. But that's where we're at on that. Just mention COVID. Last week, even we're still trying to keep up with the cases. That's become harder with all the home tests, and during the holidays, that's a difficult task. But we did hit 493 student cases last week, and almost 100 staff cases. We had a very difficult time Friday staffing, but we were able to make that happen. And all credit goes to our administrators, but more importantly, our teachers and staff for pulling extra duty during that time. Today's numbers were better. Our staffing was better. And at 1:30, when we ran the numbers to see where we're at for tomorrow, at that time we were even in better shape tomorrow than what we were today. But we won't know that until the morning when we start school. It's something we monitor, spend hours a day monitoring to try to determine if we can continue to staff our schools. But so far we are. Our main goal is we believe that in-person instruction is best, and that we're going to try to stay and staff our schools as long as possible before we have to take any action. There's been a lot of talk this week. State people are starting, counties are running into the same problem of staffing. You're seeing some counties go on remote education. We have that plan in place. We're continuing to remind our teachers and our administrators are doing a good job of getting those plans in place. Where if we had to shut a school down for a few days and apply for remote through the state, we were ready to do that. But right now, at this moment, we appear good to be tomorrow. And it is literally, when you're dealing with 20,000 students, basically, and over 22,000 employees, it's a day-by-day task to determine whether you can continue on. So our teachers are continuing, our staff are doing a tremendous job. One good note this morning, we had fewer bus routes down than we've had in a long time. So that appears, and that was that case Friday as well. So there's some mixed signs of what's going on, but we're just trying to take a look at how it's impacting us on a daily basis. Enrollment updates, 19,908 students. We've added over 100 since first semester break, and we're still seeing those numbers continue to rise. Personnel update, do want to mention we're in the process of filling 2 principal positions, one Delzy Patton, one at West Wilson Middle. We're in the interview process of trying to find and locate 2 principals, where we had 2 principals that left our district after the first semester. Construction project update, Stoner Creek is walls are going up, some parts. All of our meetings, weekly meetings, they're making progress. Last few days weather's hurt them a little bit, but they are ready to pour slabs, just waiting for temperatures to remain constant enough for that to take place. Our West Wilson Middle School is still in design phase. We're wrapping that up and looking to bring that to the board for approval. And then, of course, that'll come on to the commission. Our portables at Stoner Creek and Glayville are in operation, and that has worked out well. And that appears to have helped us, especially at Stoner Creek, with spacing. So that's a good thing. We're continue to meet monthly with FEMA. Of course, you understand that that FEMA money will be above the insurance settlement, but I feel comfortable in saying the meetings I've sat in that they're going to hear our claims, and we will be able to secure some FEMA money once we bid that West Wilson project. Many grants from Lebanon Chamber of Commerce went out to our teachers. I included each of those teachers, and just want to thank the Lebanon Chamber of Commerce for this great project. Over $6,721 were given to our classroom teachers that will be used directly in the classroom for a student. So the Chamber of Commerce does a tremendous job fundraising for that. It's also the time of year for Teacher of the Year 21-22, and you have those teachers at each school that were chosen by their faculty, and this is the annual Teacher of the Year for Wilson County, and special thanks to Cedar Stone Bank, Wilson County Motors. It's one of the nicest, classiest programs you'll find anywhere in the country in regards to Teacher of the Year and honoring our teachers. But you do have those names who will be competing and vying for that great honor. School Board Appreciation Week is January 23rd through 29th. I just want to take opportunity publicly to thank each member of our Board of Education. It's been trying times in recent months, recent years, and just thankful for their support of public education and their commitment and dedication to our students, families, and employees of Wilson County Schools. So if you get a chance to see some of them this week, thank them for their service. Our next regular board work session is February the 3rd at 5 o'clock, and that will follow with a Board of Education meeting February the 7th. And don't forget, this Thursday, 6:30 at ATC will be a special call meeting, and you're welcome to attend and hear the conversations on RFP lands as I get ready to make a recommendation. That is my report.
Move to be received and filed.
Discussion, Commissioner Stafford.
Question, you are still televising the Board of Education meetings, okay? I'll make sure that. And secondly, have you heard any more from the governor regarding the BEP funds or any of that?
I have not. They're just bits and pieces are coming out. You know, that's we're starting to see some legislation hit the floor while they're in session, and I expect more in the next couple of weeks to hopefully give us some indication of what the plan is moving forward with that.
Commissioner McFarland.
Jeff, are you televising live, or it used to be recorded and played later? Is that the way it still is?
No, it's streamed live.
It's live on our cable TV?
It's not on our cable TV.
Can you get it on our cable TV? We had it set up one time, about a $5,000 piece of equipment would get it on our cable TV.
I would have to look, but if you can log in, it's.
I understand it, but it's a whole lot easier to sit in the easy chair and look at the cable TV. We programmed it at one time, but it went away, so.
I understand.
Commissioner Walker.
I see it on TDS in Mount Juliet, so I'm not sure how Teresa's doing it, but I'm seeing it in Mount Juliet.
Go to the school system's website and pull it up.
Commissioner Breeze.
I know on Friday there was an email sent out to parents to try to come and help and apply to be substitute teachers. Did that help bolster your numbers at all?
Well, it has not at this point. We have had, I think, but that's through the company that we contract with, so I don't know. Hopefully that will help, but I do know there has been some parents reach out of how they can be involved in that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Director Luttrell? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Luttrell. Report from the Register of Deeds. Ms. Murphy, of course, is always here. The report is in your packet. If you have any questions, she'll be glad to answer those. If not, do I entertain a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? There's a report in your packet from Mr. Major. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
So move.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Road Superintendent report, Mr. Steve Murphy.
Mayor, Commissioners, you should have new road lists. I was going to let everybody know if anybody needs a hard copy, just let me call the office. We'll get you one. We're trying to do some patchwork when the weather's permitting, but it's 30 degrees or below. We just can't get hot mix. That's what we use, hot mix. We don't use cold mix. So, and other than that, we're just doing our general maintenance if the snow would stay away from us. So, anybody got any questions? That concludes my report.
Motion second. Commissioner Walker.
Yeah, I had a phone call during the big snowstorm, and I had some constituents out on Tate Lane were following up on damage from the tornado. They want to say thank you, and I personally want to thank you and your staff for a job well done. Thank you.
Commissioner Breeze?
I wanted to echo the same. That the road commission's come out and done a wonderful job helping clean up the Crosswinds area off of Saundersville Ferry that got hit by the EF1 tornado in my district. I just want to thank you for all of their hard work and help getting the area back to what it looked like before. So thank you.
Commissioner Robinson?
Steve, I told you at the road board meeting how much I appreciate all your guys, and I'd like everyone in here to know that I appreciate the hard work that you and all of your crew did, and not just you, but all the special people here and all the departments, but I sure do appreciate all the work that y'all did.
Any other questions, Mr. Murphy?
Hey, they did too.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Ag Center report, Mr. Quentin Smith.
Mayor, County Commissioners, we've been really busy the last year. Thought I'd give you an update. We just settled up with the Dancing Lights of Christmas, and I've had a lot of you have asked me different questions about it. We got paid on 44,881 cars that paid to go through the Dancing Lights show. He paid for $15,000 worth of paving. He paid another $6,396 for gravel work on the roads, and then we charged another $10,000. So the total of what we got out of the deal in paving and gravel and all was $76,277. Also, I might tell you that charities that got money from them, it was 50,000 plus. Fiddler's Grove, Ronald McDonald House, Salvation Army, the Casa Wilson County, Operation Stand Down Veteran Charity, also the Wilson County Angel Tree Children's Christmas. Joseph Storehouse got 3,500 pounds of donated canned food, and also we had 1,700 cars with veterans during the Veteran Appreciation Week. Those 1,700 cars got to go through free of charge. Also, there was another 150 that went through free with the Wilson County Angel Tree families. That kind of gives you an update of what went on with the Dancing Lights of Christmas. We'll be looking forward to having them back with us again another year. Might mention something new that we had the first weekend of January. I'm sure Commissioner McFarland there can remember when the Reese brothers over towards Gallatin used to have the mule sale down here at the old livestock sale, and that's been a long time ago. That's actually before Alvin McKee and that crowd had the sale barn. That big mule sale, it moved to Columbia. Has been a big deal down there for a pretty good while, and then they moved it out of Columbia back to Westmoreland. And for the last 2 years, I've been working with them trying to get it moved to the James E. Ward Ag Center. We got that done. They had mule sale there the first weekend of January. You folks that want to see some high dollar mules and see people from 30 states or so, you cannot believe how many people come in here for that thing. There was people here from Arizona, Nevada, because what they're doing, they're buying those mules for pack animals, and we had a big bunch out of Montana there that was buying mules to hunt off of. Those mules, the first 12 pairs that they sold through the ring brought from $20,000 to $27,000. Then they sold another additional, 150 mules probably in that $45,000 and above. Because these folks are there. There's probably more Amish folks there than I've ever seen at our fairgrounds. They were there all the way from Pennsylvania. A lot of them were buying mules. A lot of them were selling mules. So we'll have another big mule sale in April. So any of you folks who want to come and see a big mule sale, you can come out at the end of April, and it'll be at James E. Ward Ag Center. I think it's a really good deal, as I know that we got a lot. I actually had a lot of them calling because they couldn't get rooms. We filled the place up with these mule buyers. And a lot of them flew in. The weather was really bad. A lot of them flew in, but the airport's on our side of town, and that really benefits us a lot. Other comment I might make is, I know y'all, I was tied up at the last commission meeting, and I heard a little bit about this noise ordinance. I would surely hope y'all exempt the James E. Ward Ag Center, because we don't need no noise ordinance out there. That completes my report. If anybody's got any questions, holler at me.
Commissioner Rich?
Yes, Quentin, you said 44,000 on dancing lights. I know the weather was terrible in December. How does that compare to last year? Do you know?
Well, last year was a record that they won't never do. You know, we paid, I think it was 66,000 it paid to go through it last year. But this 44,881, that would be the second high number that they ever had since they were at Jellystone in Nashville. So, you know, you got to look at what the difference was. Last year, everybody been, you know,
50% of the month too. So.
Yeah. He was really tickled, and it turned out really good.
Commissioner Stafford?
Mr. Smith, I am definitely a city girl, but I have got to ask the country question. How do they get the mules home if they flew in here?
They got truckers that'll haul them for them.
It's next to you.
The top pair of mules at 27,000 went to Georgia to a plantation that hunts quail and that kind of thing. That they'll pull a wagon with that team.
Makes sense now. But.
Any other good questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Director Smith. Expo Center Director's Report, Ms. Gail Hibbett. Hard act to follow. Hard act to follow.
Good evening, everybody. I'll make this very quick. I've given you 3 pieces of paper, and I apologize that I had to come in and put them on your desk. I was out sick with COVID, and I missed the deadline to get them in where they needed to be, so that you got them with everything else. So your first page is I tried to give you a financial overview of the Expo for 2021. Just a quick snapshot, just to give you an idea of what we did, what we brought in. COVID is still very much affecting our business, but nonetheless, we profited $402.19. I was very impressed with those numbers because I don't think we've ever hit that mark before. We had $145,430 worth of cancellations. All that really represents is rental, because I can't calculate tickets, I can't calculate vendor fees, I can't calculate a lot of the other stuff that we collect for. So if you look at that, if we had not had those cancellations, just as an idea of volume, we would have had over $386,941.24 in profit for the Expo for 2021. So that says a lot about the staff who works very, very hard to make all that happen. And this year, we're already off and running, and I spend daily filling in holes of what's not already scheduled, booking in 22, 23, 24, and 25. Just over the past week, I booked 2 conventions that'll bring anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 each. So we're definitely hitting the road running. The other thing I wanted to show you, your second page, is just simply an overview. It's the report for the month of December. Kind of gives you an idea of where the money's coming from, where the cancellations are. All of the cancellations, with the exception of one that we had in 2021, were COVID related. So it wasn't anything that we could have affected that was for one reason or another, whether it was a corporate decision or it was the leader of the group actually had COVID. They canceled for that reason. Your last page is a snapshot of what we've got coming up from February through April. And as you can see, we've already had some COVID cancellations for 2022. But that is a snapshot of what is coming, and that is a very full schedule because the dates that you see are just the event dates. They do not include the setup and the breakdown. So there's usually 1 to 2 days on both sides of those events. That concludes what I wanted to share with you tonight. Do you have any questions for me?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Ms. Gill.
Thank you.
Report from the Public Works Committee, Commissioner Weathers.
No report.
Ag Center Management, Commissioner Scruggs.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Animal Control, Commissioner Marlowe.
Animal Control met Thursday, January 13th, in upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Got a motion to hear a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Audit, Commissioner Bernard.
No report.
Cable Tax, Commissioner Walker.
No report.
Development Tourism, Commissioner Vanatta.
No report.
Ethics, Commissioner Ash.
No report.
Finance, Commissioner Weathers.
Finance report met, our Finance Committee met on Wednesday, January 12th at 5 p.m. in the evening. The minutes are in your package. I make a motion they be received and filed.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Health and Recreation, Commissioner Patton.
No report.
Insurance, Commissioner Ash.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a report. Several people have asked me something, and Aaron has gotten it for me today. It appears maybe our self-insurance plan may have the ability to be refunded, get some funding out of COVID. So, we've had some big claims, and that's just good news for everybody to know.
Judicial, Commissioner Glover.
Judicial met on December 6th in the conference room. I move that the minutes be received and filed.
Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Planning and Zoning, Commissioner McFarland.
Planning and Zoning met December 14, 5 p.m. Minutes in your packet, move to be received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. And opposed? Rules, Commissioner Gentry.
No report.
Urban Top Facility Board, Commissioner Scruggs. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Finance Director's Report, Mr. Aaron Maynard. Apologize, Mr. Gentry, my cheat sheet was not correct, so I will get that taken care of.
Always try to take a look in December. December and February are two very important months for us to know what kind of year we're going to have. So just looking at the net and the general fund, if there's other funds you want to know about, I can certainly tell you. But from an excess of revenues over expenditures through the month of December, we are $3,843,000 excess of revenues over expenditures. If you're wondering what it was last year, it was $4.8 million. So we're about $1 million short of where we were last year, but I would remind you that last year was a record. So I'm really quite pleased with where everything is at the moment. Don't have anything specific. I know there's a lot going on with pay studies and different things. Happy to field any questions you might have. Adequate facilities tax, sales tax, both continue to do incredibly well. So concludes my report unless you have any questions for me.
Motion approved.
Second.
Got a motion second, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Maynard. Report from Budget Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Budget Committee met Thursday, January 13th, upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ready for resolutions?
First resolution. Resolution 22-1-3, classifying the public roads in Wilson County.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 21-1-4, declaring the Old Road Commission property on Oak Street in Lebanon as surplus property.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Let the record reflect it was unanimous.
Resolution 21-1-5, amending Rule 58 regarding the video recording of county committee meetings.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner McFarland?
my rule book does not have, nor does anybody's in the rule book that's dated 2021, Rule 58, Rule 57 's the last one. It may, should have been in there, but right now it's not. Move this, go to Rules Committee, and then on to Budget Committee, because it'll have a financial impact.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to go back to Rules Committee. This is Resolution 21-1-5. Any other discussion? Any other comments? Any comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed?
Resolution 21-1-6, to amend the budget and appropriation resolutions for 2021-22 fiscal year, for line item transfers in Ag Center Fund.
Got a motion to hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion now? Are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 22-1-7, to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriations resolution to make an additional appropriation into other agriculture and natural resources.
Second.
Second discussion. Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, unanimous.
Resolution 22-1-8, to amend the budget and appropriation resolution, to make an additional appropriation to building inspector.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 22-1-9, to reflect revenues received but not included in their original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an additional appropriation into county buildings.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Gentry? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 22-1-10, to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation from the general fund to finance.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 22-1-11, to reflect revenues received but not included in their original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriations resolutions to make an additional appropriation into WEMA.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Mr. Stafford, Commissioner Bernard, Commissioner Patton. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 22-1-12, to amend the budget and appropriations resolution by approving Wilson County Board of Education Budget Amendment 2022-7.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Mr. Franklin? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 25-0. Any old business to come before this body? Commissioner Patton?
New business.
Nope, sorry. And under new business, I'll go to Commissioner Patton in a second, but you remember Sarah last month put on here on the screen some comedian stuff about all of our commissioners? Miss Brooke Driver, she wanted me to pass along. She tried to even up with Sarah. This joke for you. The only thing that ever set its way to success was a hen. Commissioner Patton?
Yes, I wanted to know that since you're the head of the, you take care of WEMA, the EMA committee, it's just finance, is it that Mount Juliet is presenting a resolution tonight, 11.5, that says a resolution requesting the Wilson County Commission to approve an agreement with the City of Mount Juliet, whereas Wilson County Emergency Management, WEMA, provides an ambulance and 2 personnel per shift in the fire EMS station being constructed by the City of Mount Juliet next to Green Hills, and to maintain current staffing and equipment at all City of Mount Juliet stations located in the City of Mount Juliet.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Again, for the record, I know that Mount Juliet's doing what they have to do. We've got, what, 23, Director? 23 that we're down, so I just want to make sure that this commission's aware of that. We got to take care of our own before we can take care of everybody else, so.
Anything else? Just making everybody aware.
Basically it.
Gotcha. Any other new business to come before this body? Take one more motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.